Happy Marvelous Monday! Do you know what some of our family and friends started celebrating yesterday? Stick around to find out.
When I have a worry-filled mind, I like to wander outside. No telling what we might find. Birds calling, worms crawling, leaves falling down from above. Oh, I plant my feet on the ground. I keep my head in the clouds. I let my feelings out loud. I hear joy calling, fear crawling, tears falling down out of love.
Welcome, friends. If you don't already know, my name is Mrs. A, and I am so glad that you're here. I often start us off with a feelings or zones check-in, and today we're going to focus more on our feelings or emotions, and I'd like you to think about what you are feeling in this moment. Sometimes our feelings can be hard to describe or identify, and so I've made a poster that can help us. You can look at the different characters and see which one matches you, or maybe the face that you're making, or maybe the way that you are molding your features. And so I'd like you to take just a minute and name your feeling or your emotion. I'll make the poster bigger so you can see all the choices. And as you sit and listen to your body and notice how your face is shaped, notice maybe how your eyes are curved or your eyebrows are expressing your feeling, try to name that emotion. Saying the feeling or emotion out loud can really help us. It can help our body feel a bit more settled. It can help our mind be a bit clearer. And it can also help us with the people around us. If we are able to say, I'm feeling really frustrated, or I'm feeling really lonely, then they'll know that you may be experiencing that feeling and they might be able to do something to help, or give you some space if you need, or just offer to be there for you. And so sharing our feelings and identifying our emotions is really helpful practice. And it's something that you can start practicing right away, and something that you'll want to keep practicing forever and ever. So take just another moment to look at that feelings poster and identify which one are you feeling right now. I found my feeling. Did you? I am feeling determined. Maybe you see determined on the poster. And I am feeling determined to wrap up this year 2021 on a positive and focused note. I'm feeling determined to keep sharing with you my videos and my resources. I am determined to keep learning and growing alongside you and your families as well. How are you feeling right now? Well, thank you for sharing. Did any of you notice as you shared that feeling or emotion, did your body feel any certain way? Yeah, sometimes when I share my feelings, my body feels lighter. Sometimes it feels heavier. Sometimes it feels tingly. There are lots of different ways that we might feel when we share or identify our emotions. That's why it's helpful to practice so we can get used to all those different things. And I wanted to remind you that each season I put out a few short stories about feelings and emotions. And so if you are subscribed, then you'll know when those new short stories come out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that's okay. You can take a second to do that now. Anytime you subscribe, I do a little happy dance, knowing that one more person is excited or interested or curious or willing to learn and grow with me. So thank you so much for those who have subscribed already. And thank you for going and clicking that button today. Now, I can't believe that our year 2021 is almost through, but let's make the most of it and do a date exercise together. We have just a couple more before our new year. And if you notice up here, our date today, or the date where I am today, is 12/27/21. And if the date for you is a little different, that's okay. When we exercise, you can just add on as many as you need to get to your date. Before we get started with our exercises, though, let's check in with Fig, because they are showing us one of the exercises or moves that we'll do. What do you notice about the way their body is shaped? Can you think of this move? I think I have an idea. I think maybe you friends have some guesses as well. We'll do Fig's move in just a moment. But let's first start with 12 wall push-ups. Now, if you prefer to do push-ups on the floor or on the space out in front of you, that is fine. I like to do wall push-ups because I have a nice tall flat wall right here. And when we do these wall push-ups, we are going to count by twos. Yes, I know that we're going to count by twos because there is a 2 or an even number in the ones place. And that tells us that we can share it equally. It's an even number. And when we see an even number, we are practicing counting by twos. If you don't know how to do that yet, that's okay. You can follow along and try your best. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. So give it a try. Let's do 12 wall push-ups. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 wall push-ups. Friends, thanks for trying those out with me. Now we need to do 27 Fig's moves. Let's see, 27. I see that there's a 7 in the ones place. Can I share 7 equally? I cannot. So that means it is an odd number, and we're going to count by ones. What are we going to count by ones while we're doing, Fig? Running in place. Did you guess it? All right, let's do 27 runs in place, or we'll run in place as quickly or as slowly as we like while counting to 27. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Thanks, Fig, for that energetic exercise. And last but not least, we have 21 moves to do. Do you think 21 is even or odd? It's odd, yes, because 1 cannot be shared equally. And so we are going to count by ones as we do 21 lunges. We've done lunges together before, so maybe you remember them. Stand up and spread out our legs. And we'll want to make sure our head and our feet are facing in the same direction. And when we do a lunge, we bend our front knee down and our back knee nearly touches the ground. Let's do 21 lunges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's feeling a little wobbly, so I'm going to switch sides. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, almost there, 19, 20, 21. Thanks for doing those exercises with me. If you'd like to take 3 cool down breaths, you can listen for my bell. And when you hear it, fill your belly up with air and then slowly let it out. Fantastic. I hope you are feeling warmed up in your muscles. Maybe even your brain is feeling more clear or focused. And I hope you're ready for our next step together. At the beginning of this episode, I asked if you knew what holiday some of our family and friends started celebrating yesterday. And maybe you've seen some hints over here, or maybe you know because you celebrate it with your family, or you have a friend who celebrates it. But it is the holiday called Kwanzaa. Have you ever heard of Kwanzaa before? Well, I have a message here where we are going to learn a little bit more about Kwanzaa before we check out our books. And in my journal, you know that I write messages that have alliterations hidden in them. And alliterations are words that are next to each other or really close by, that start with the same letter or sound at the beginning of them. So be on the lookout for those alliterations, detectives. Dear curious and kind kids, yesterday was the beginning of Kwanzaa. Many of our Black friends and family celebrate Kwanzaa as a way to gather together and celebrate their African heritage. One thing that's special about this holiday is that it lasts 7 days. Each day has a different meaning or practice to try. I love how there are holidays that can help inspire us to do different and important things throughout the year. Don't you? Let's look at some beautiful books to learn more about Kwanzaa together. Love, Mrs. A. All right, did you find any alliterations? There are some double alliterations and triple alliterations, so be on the lookout for those. I also learned something about Kwanzaa. How many days does Kwanzaa last? 7, yes. Nice listening. Is 7 an even or an odd number? Oh, yeah, we had it in our date as well. It is an odd number because I cannot put it into equal groups. I can do a group of 4 and a group of 3, and I can't share it equally, so it is odd. Nice thinking. Now, as I mentioned, I have some beautiful books here to share with you. We'll look at all of them and read a little bit from one of them. This first one is called My First Kwanzaa. It's by Karen Katz. And I think this is a really great book because it gives you some information about Kwanzaa. And it helps you pronounce some of the words related to Kwanzaa, like this one here. The kikombe, or unity cup, is an important part of Kwanzaa celebrations. And sometimes when there are new words and we're not sure how to read them yet, it's helpful for us to learn how to pronounce them with some information like this. And so this book is filled with information about Kwanzaa, and it has really beautiful, brightly colored and detailed illustrations. And one other thing that I really like about this book is that as you learn about each day in Kwanzaa, each candle becomes lit in the illustration, and it walks you through each step as if you were celebrating one day at a time. And so I really enjoy that. My First Kwanzaa by Karen Katz. And this other book here is also called My First Kwanzaa Book. and it is by Deborah M. Newton Chocolate, illustrated by Cal Massey. And this one is also beautifully illustrated, but the characters look like real people to me. In this other one, it's a little bit more like a cartoon or more playful, and in this one, it looks like people, real people. And this one also has a ton of great information, but has fewer words, so it's not as overwhelming if you are just starting to learn about Kwanzaa or just curious to learn a little bit at a time. And so I really like this one. It's like a little taste. And here we have, a map of the continent of Africa. There are so many countries in Africa, and you can see them here. And similar to this other book, it walks us through one day or candle at a time. But what I like about this one that's a little different is it tells you the date. And so on December 29th, you would have these 4 candles lit. And then on December 30th, you'd have these 5 candles lit. And you'd learn about each of the practices that they talk about in this book and when to celebrate them. And so that's a really great book to check out if you are curious to learn more about Kwanzaa. And my personal favorite of all 3 here is this one called 7 Candles for Kwanzaa. And it's by Andrea Davis Pinkney with pictures by Brian Pinkney. And I love this book for a lot of reasons I'll tell you about. But the first one is these beautiful illustrations. They are so detailed. Maybe you can see them. There are so many beautiful lines and colors to make these come alive. Right at the beginning, we have a little bit of the history of Kwanzaa. And then we'll jump right in the first few pages. It says, Kwanzaa, and again I see that pronunciation key to help me know how to say these words. Kwanzaa is like a family day in the park, and Thanksgiving and a birthday all rolled into one. Kwanzaa is a joyous African-American holiday that is 7 days long. It begins on December 26th and lasts through the first day of January. The name Kwanzaa comes from the East African language of Swahili. It means first fruits of the harvest. So I remember that we were talking about it lasting 7 days. We learned something new. Kwanzaa means first fruits in Swahili. Since ancient times in countries all over Africa, families have joined together to celebrate the end of the harvest and the beginning of the new planting season. When vegetables, yams, and fruits are ripe for gathering, families rejoice in a first fruits festival. Did you remember at the beginning when the author said it was like Thanksgiving and birthdays rolled into one? Yeah, oftentimes around Thanksgiving or for Thanksgiving, people celebrate the harvest in the United States or on Turtle Island. And so I like that connection, harvesting or gathering all of the crops that have been grown, yams and fruits. Kwanzaa is a holiday that began in America. It is a time when people whose ancestors come from Africa celebrate their African heritage. So if you have family from Africa, your grown-ups, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, that means you have African heritage. To get ready for the holiday, families decorate their homes with Kwanzaa symbols. They place the mkeka, a straw placemat, on the table. The mkeka is woven with beautiful patterns. It represents tradition. We've been talking about traditions, things that you do year after year with your family or friends or even on your own. Mohindi, another helpful pronunciation key. Mohindi is corn. During Kwanzaa, 1 ear of corn is placed on the mkeka for each child in the family. Families that have many children put lots of mohindi in their mkeka, along with apples, bananas, nuts, pears, and yams, to remember the earth's abundance. These fruits and vegetables are called mazaho, which means crops. I love that I can learn new words in this book, and it helps me say them because I don't know how to read them smoothly yet. And so I really like that part of this book as well. This is reminding me a lot about Native American practices or Indigenous people, talking about the earth's gifts and earth's abundance. What a beautiful way to start a holiday celebration. Now, if you get this book from your library or bookstore and read on, you'll see that there are many more parts to the holiday Kwanzaa, many more traditions and practices to learn about and read about. And so I definitely recommend 7 Candles for Kwanzaa. Be sure to grab this book and maybe read it to your family, maybe read it with your family, or maybe just read it on your own. But it's really cool to learn about things like holidays that maybe you don't celebrate or maybe just your friends celebrate, so you can get a better understanding and so you can grow your brain and grow your heart. Anytime we learn about someone or something that's a little different from us, we become more empathetic and compassionate. Another fancy way to say we grow our heart and can become a bit more kinder, a bit more gentler, and a bit more open to lots of different things. So be sure to check out these books. And thanks so much for listening to some parts of them with me today. Before we say goodbye, I'd like us to take a mindful moment that is inspired by some of the practices of Kwanzaa. I see that in each of these books, on each cover, there are candles. And maybe you remember, but we've done a stretch before called the candle stretch, where we sit up nice and tall, make sure our back is nice and straight and comfortable, and put our arms up as if we're becoming a candle, and we will gently clap our hands to light the flame of our candle, and then we'll blow it out and bring our arms back down. I really like this candle stretch because it connects to Kwanzaa and makes me think about the 7 candles that will be lit for that holiday. And it also makes me think about how I can move my body to help me clear my mind, to help me stay focused, to help me feel settled. Will you do some candle breaths with me today? We'll stretch like a candle for 3 big breaths, breathing in as we go up, and then out to blow out our flame. Are you ready? Two more. One final candle stretch. Fantastic. Thanks so much for moving your body and trying some new things with me today. Be sure to check out these books on Kwanzaa and let me know which one is your favorite, or if you have one that's your favorite that's different than the ones we talked about today. You can always send me an email, and the email's in the description. And remember to like and subscribe. This way you can see all the new videos I put out and all the new short stories about feelings and so on. Friends, I hope you make it a wonderful rest of the day. Sending off with some love. A hug if you want it. And I can't wait to see you next time.